Alright, the first thing you need to do before practice is check your tire pressure. Take a floor pump or a handheld pump. Find your valve, open it up, put the pump on, lock it, and then pump to whatever you need. What pressure you need kind of depends on how much you weigh and whether or not you have tubeless tires, or the size of your rim, the size of your tubes. I weigh about 115 pounds, and I put in 15 pounds of pressure in the front and 17 in the back. And you kind of want to run a little bit higher when you're riding road, and lower when you're doing single track. And make sure you check them, make sure they feel good. Try to ride them after you check your pressure to make sure that it feels all right. And you should be good.
So before practice, it's also important to check over the brakes here. The brakes are really easy to check. You should just spin the wheel and make sure that it's braking properly. If it's not braking well for some reason, that's another thing that you should probably go to a coach for, because it could really be a number of different things. I'd also recommend getting on the bike and then making sure it brakes then, because adding the weight to the bike can make a difference towards like your braking power and everything like that. So another important thing to check when you're biking before practice is to make sure that all the spokes are tight here on your bike. If you have loose spokes, it can lead to like your wheel being damaged or something bad like that. So what we usually do is we take our fingers and just make sure that they all feel like nice and tight. If there's any that feel loose, that usually means you need to get them checked, and that's an easy thing to go over with another coach. So.
Alright, the next thing that you should do with your bike before practice is make sure that it's shifting alright. So if you have a stand like this, put it up on the stand. Pedal it, and just shift through your gears. Make sure that it's all shifting okay. Mine's looking really good. If it's not, you should have a little adjuster up here, and play with that until you get it to shift nicely. You want to turn it clockwise to help it shift into the smaller gears, and vice versa, counterclockwise if you're having trouble getting into a larger gear. Once you play with that and you get it to shift smoothly through all of the gears, you should be ready to go.
So the last thing that's important to do before you start biking for practice is to make sure your chain's lubed. So you usually should have something similar to this. It's like a finish line dry bike lubricant, and what you do is you would backpedal with your bike and place it right over the chain like this while you're backpedaling, similar to that type of motion. And then what that does is it just makes sure your chain is like lubed up, and that prevents all of the cassette and stuff like that from breaking down. So it's good to make sure you take care of your bike.